Hi, my name is Damon Brown of DamonBrown.net. My thing is helping you as a solopreneur, as a side hustler, or as otherwise a non-traditional entrepreneur. Again, learn more about me at DamonBrown.net. Today we're going to talk about how to sell yourself better in 13 words. And when I say yourself, I mean you as a solo practitioner, you as an entrepreneur, you as a creator, and how you can get your brand out there better. It's a great quote from Grant Baldwin. We connected online. He's really cool people. He has a book called The Successful Speaker that came out recently, and he was talking to Farnoosh Torabi, who's a well-known financial expert that talks about different things in regards to finances, particularly for independent folks. And he captured it so well. Let me make sure I got my quote right from here. Grant Baldwin says, "The longer it takes to describe you, the more your speaking fee drops." Remember, he focuses on public speaking. The longer it takes to describe you, the more your speaking fee drops. Killer stuff. This applies to not just public speakers. Obviously, I'm a public speaker. I've spoken at TED several times. I do a lot of keynotes. I'm speaking to you now, but it applies to people way beyond this. Anyone who's doing a craft where you have to sell yourself, where you are the brand. I'm Damon Brown. I am the brand. And so when someone asks me to do public speaking, I am selling myself. You could be a plumber. You are the brand because you are getting yourself out there. And so there's a few different nuances to this that I'm going to break down. The first thing is what I call the cocktail test, where I talk about this much more extensively in Build From Now, How to Know Your Power, See Your Abundance, and Nourish the World. January 2021, it's coming out soon. January 28th, you can pre-order at DamonBrown.net and get some special goodies from me. If you pre-order, get a signed copy. And yeah, get it at your favorite platform, but get it from me, you get the good stuff. And I talk about it more in Build From Now, where the cocktail test is simply, you go to a cocktail party and someone says, well, what do you do? And I've been independent for decades now. And I've been to a lot of parties. I do like to be social. And when I first started my career, it would take like a minute for me to tell people what I did. At the time, I was a journalist. And it would take forever. And it's like they would start to glaze away, or the eyes start to glaze over, start to look away, and all that other stuff. And over time, as I got better at branding myself and better, frankly, as a journalist, then I was able to narrow it down. The same thing happened when I became a public speaker, when I became a consultant, when I became a coach, all those things. Now I can say, people say, well, what do you do? And I say, well, I advocate. And I say, the belief you have to sacrifice everything to make your entrepreneurial mark is a myth. That's it. I think it's 15 words. That's it. Everything I do, me speaking to you, my last TED Talk in September of 2020 that you can catch at TED.com or go to DamonBrown.net to watch, my latest book, Build From Now, whatever. You catch me on the street, we're sheltering in place, but you catch me in the street or you get a drink or whatever, everything I'm talking about lines up with that. Frankly, my speaking fee has gone up because people know what the deal is. So they're coming to me and they know what I can deliver. That's what he's talking about. Again, it's not just public speaking. Grant Baldwin focuses on that. But it's not just public speaking. It's what you represent. You could be running a nonprofit. You still have that cocktail test. So number one, getting your cocktail test together and making sure it's good. Number two, making it easier for others to talk about you. This is so important. One of my favorite memes, and I think I talk about it briefly in Build From Now, again coming out in January, is you don't know how people are advocating for you because they can be speaking your name in other rooms that you're not in. You don't know how people are advocating for you because they could be speaking for you in rooms that you're not in. In other words, you could have advocates, you have people supporting you. There could be people on board somewhere. There could be people organizing conferences. There could be people trying to set up a financial budget for a major institution. And they're like, no, they're doing some amazing stuff. You should have them involved in this. We should invest in them. We should buy their product and get it to our people. We should go there. And you don't even know. The thing is that, again, to my cocktail test or to what Grant Baldwin says as far as with the speaking fee, if they can't articulate, let me back up. If you can't articulate what you do and the value you bring, that's what I'm talking about, not even brand. If you cannot articulate the value you bring in a succinct way and share it with your advocate, then how the heck are they going to talk about your idea to someone else? As I say in the Ink column, which I did an Ink column about this, you can go to inkdamonbrown.com and check it out. Just look up Grant Baldwin. It's like a bad game of telephone. If you can't articulate what you do, and it's supposed to be your passion, it's your business, remember, how are they going to advocate for you when you're not there? You can't interrupt them. You don't even know you're being talked about. So the more articulate and succinct you are, the better other people can sell what you're doing. They're advocating for you even when you're not there. So that's off the rip, as they say. That's a start. But then the other part is that it makes you become more efficient. Again, the belief you have to sacrifice everything to make an entrepreneurial mark is a myth. That simple concept, which hit me 2016, became the original Bite-Sized Entrepreneur. The original was pretty tiny. I do not have a copy here, but it's white and it has the bite up here, which became part of my insignia. That became a bestseller, which brought me to you and began this whole series. I've done 7 books in the 4.5 years since the Bite-Sized Entrepreneur. But that simple concept, those 13, 15 words, the belief you have to sacrifice everything to make your entrepreneurial mark is a myth, has been the flagstaff, the compass for my keynotes, for my talks, for my books, for Bring Your Worth, which came out 2 years ago, and the follow-up, which is coming out in January 2021, this. They're all the same discussion, all based on what I call the compass, right? And I talk about that in some other videos, which that I'll link. But your compass, what your guiding light is, what your North Star is, the simpler, more focused it is, the more prolific you can be, because you're not worrying about fitting into this or that. People can see it from far away, which people recognize. I found that myself. But then you recognize it yourself too. And you're not going in a million and two different directions. Again, my upcoming book, Build From Now, is about mastering your resources, or at least getting better at that. Part of it is knowing exactly what you're going to focus on. Grant's argument says that the more you can focus on it, the more profitable and impactful that your business will be. So number one, think about the cocktail test. If you're at a cocktail party, how long does it take for you to say what you're about, what value you bring? Number two, if you're able to narrow down what your main focus is, then it makes it easier for other people to advocate for you when you're not there. And people are advocating, trust me, all the time for you, whether you realize it or not. You might not even realize it till years later. I got a ton of stories about that. I will not get into them now, but trust me on this one. People are always advocating for you, whether you realize it or not. You may never realize it. And there could be opportunities that you miss because you were not clear to that person who's advocating for you. Number three, it makes it easier for you to be more efficient yourself. The reason I was able to do 7 books in 4 years, I got 2 little kids. It's not like I have a ton of time. It's because my focus is clear. It's those 15 words. If it doesn't fit into those 15 words, believe you have to sacrifice everything to make your entrepreneurial mark is a myth. If it's not about that, it's not about Damon. Maybe that will change later, but for right now, that's my focus. 7 books in 4.5 years, a couple bestsellers under my belt. People know what my focus is. And if they're not about that, then I'm not for them. Having that clarity makes it easier for people to get more insight as far as what you're about and to really give you work and allow you to serve them. If you want more insight into your own personal resources, go over to buildfromnowquiz.com. It's buildfromnowquiz.com. It's free. It's 3, maybe 4 questions, multiple choice. Hundreds of y'all have taken it, which I appreciate. It takes like 2 minutes. It's based on, as you can imagine, the upcoming current book, Build From Now, How to Know Your Power, See Your Abundance, and Nourish the World. Come through there, get more insight about the book. You can pre-order it over there if you're interested. Or if you're not interested, at least you can go in and get some insight into your best resource, which is always the best or first step to mastering that. Until next time, always remember that you can bring your worth and always remember that you can build from now. Take care.